And obviously, Jonathan's been working on stuff on the side other than our little podcast here. Our little podcast here is basically working more with C sharp, where Jonathan's been focusing a lot on React. And it's an important part of building websites. And building websites is complicated already without having to include things like C sharp and APIs and all that stuff. So he's been bombarded with technology lately.
Coding is life.
Pretty
Also,
much.
before the what?
Yeah, do the Facebook clone one, which is before the login.
Before the login.
Yeah, let's run this puppy. So again, a little plug-in to the Clever Programmer. He has a YouTube channel. Look for Clever Programmer on YouTube. And he's got these long 12-hour sessions where they work on clone sites. They've cloned Facebook. They've cloned Netflix. They've done a lot of clones. And this is a Facebook clone that Jonathan has been working on.
Yeah, it has some pretty nice features.
Go ahead and increase your resolution so that we can see the whole site. We changed the resolution so that people can see code, but for the result of the Facebook clone, I think we need the full resolution of his monitor. Look at this. And tell us a little. I've never gone through any of these clones. I think they're very impressive. They're really fun to go through. I just don't have the 10, 12 hours to dedicate. I got other stuff that I need to work on. But talk to us. What is involved in all this, Jonathan?
So yeah, they kind of broke it down into different parts. They have this header part where we kind of just highlighted the homepage and then had these little kind of like designs when you go past these little buttons, and also when you go past each of the stories, they kind of like mimic how Facebook had their story line up here. And then you have your sidebar, and right now I'm still working on it, but there's a database that we're going to be going through that you can actually update and like actually type in stuff. It doesn't work right now, just still going through it. And then I added this little widget on the side that has their Facebook page as well, which is nice. This is like their actual Facebook page, looking at NFTs and stuff. And just kind of like a post that I put up. And it shows all the, you could like, comment, all that stuff.
Very cool. This is really, really impressive. I mean, what these guys did over at Clever Programmer, they do these clone sites. They focus on what I would call Node, React, and then they're using Firebase, right, which is a Google technology, in order to be able to do all this. They're not using anything beyond JavaScript. Firebase, all that stuff is all JavaScript. It's very cool if all you want to learn is JavaScript. You can use JavaScript in a server. I personally think that becoming fluent in more than one language is really important. And again, it's whatever time you have, it's like there's going to be a need for just Java developers for the front end, for the back end, all that good stuff. And you can definitely do that, get a job and learn it that way. Or, you can go with an object-oriented programming language such as Java or C sharp, which is what we're learning. And you become, your spectrum becomes a little bit wider with the different knowledge of programming languages. And, you've learned, Jonathan, that C sharp is, even though the syntax looks very similar to JavaScript, they're very different languages, the way they behave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just saw the formic form is like braces after curly braces after curly braces. It's like, you can't do that in C sharp. C sharp is a lot more structured, a lot more strict. But if you want to learn front end stuff, free plug into Clever Programmer. It's a resource that I learned about, and I pointed Jonathan to that, and it's a great place to go and learn about how to break up your site into different components and stuff like that. Very cool, very nice stuff. So what does the final piece look like, what you're working on? What stage are you in right now?
So I am working on, had a little issue earlier, but fixed it. And
You may need to shut down that browser and end your go back to the command line. I think you're gonna have to close that. Do a Control C. Oh, okay, it did. Cool. Oh, wait. You got 4 of them open.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, trash a couple of them. Go ahead and trash them all, and then close the command line, and then you can switch over to your latest one. No, yeah, switch over to your latest one first before. Oh, okay, this is the one. Got it. I'll shut up. You know what you're doing. You've been doing this for over a year now.
So we're actually, I think the next step I was going on was Google authentication. So
Okay,
we're working on that. But right now it's just the login page.
for the
So
Facebook.
it looks like this.
Yeah, and I saw the code, and I saw it was really, really, really cool. In fact, can we go look at the code for this? I
Here
think
it
it's
is.
in the app, right?
All right, here.
Yeah, here's that if statement. Remember that if statement that we met with earlier?
Yeah.
That's essentially what's happening here, except we displayed it in a simplified form first before this complicated piece here. So yeah, that's essentially what was going on. Hopefully it makes more sense to you.
Yeah, it does. Like I understood it when he was talking about it, but I was like, this looks weird.
It does. Yeah, looks very weird. So, but that's JavaScript for you. So very cool. Well, this brings us to the end of season 1, Jonathan. We ran it a little late. We had holidays and a little bit of a COVID callback get in the way of finishing up early. Our plan was to finish up a lot earlier, but nevertheless, we ended up with a bonus episode in there, a hardware episode where we reinstalled an operating system, and yeah, the Google Contacts, our poor man's version of Google Contacts. And so it's always nice to see your face surprised and amazed that things work. It's like I'm always surprised that things work. And so, but yeah. I hope that everyone has enjoyed season 1. Season 2, man, we got some stuff coming up, huh?
Yeah.
We've been planning out. We have a guest host that has been with us in season 1. He's now going to become one of our regular hosts, Gerard, our hardware guy. And essentially the route that he's going to take is security. He's going to learn to be a white hat hacker, which means he's going to be learning Linux. We'll talk about the resources that he's going to be using when we start our season. And we're basically going to have a session with him where he's going to be talking about the process of what it takes to learn about Linux and what he's done. And we'll do a little bit of comparison with PowerShell and DOS command and maybe the Windows Explorer, the File Explorer, just so that we can see what's going on with the terminal as far as the basic stuff is concerned. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. And then we have a whole lineup of guest hosts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We have, we're going to change it up a little bit. In our first season, we talked about the road that people took to code, what it is, how they learned it, what was their path. But in season 2, we're actually going to take people that use technology but don't write it, and so we'll see their user's perspective and see how, what their expectations are, and what it is that they would like to see in application. And I think by talking to the end users helps us become better programmers. So yeah, looking forward to it. In the meantime,
peace out.
Peace out.